Well, one stock we are watching this morning is Southern Company, the $41 billion power company serving the southeastern United States. Well, Southern just reported their results for the first quarter. Both revenue and profit far outstripped Wall Street expectations. But late yesterday, we heard that Southern warned the new coal plant it is building in Mississippi would see further delays and charges, bringing write-downs to nearly $1 billion. With me to talk about this and the quarterly results is Tom Fanning, Southern's chairman, president, and CEO. Tom, good to see you again this morning on In the Loop.
Yeah, Betty, great being with you again.
Okay, so tell me first, what happened here with the coal plant? Why is it being delayed again?
Sure. During the first quarter, we had polar vortex 1 and 2, and even with the recent tornadic activity, we lost a lot of productivity at the site. As we had an aggressive schedule anyway, we made the judgment that along with the loss of productivity, there was just too much risk building up on the schedule. Now, we're still going to try and complete it this year, but we made the conservative judgment to extend out a potential delay into, say, May 31, 2015.
Okay, and how confident are you, Tom, that you will be able to stick to that new date?
That's our best judgment right now.
And these write-downs are now going to add up to, what, $1 billion for Southern Company? How are you going to be able to offset those costs, Tom?
Well, interestingly, the technology we developed, you may recall from our prior conversation, Southern Company is the only company in our industry that does proprietary, robust research and development. This is a technology that we developed that uses low-rank coal, essentially low-grade coal, Mississippi lignite here. We will gasify it. We will create a synthesis gas. Off the synthesis gas, we will capture carbon dioxide. In this case, we will use it for enhanced oil recovery. We will produce out of this plant somewhere around 2 million barrels of oil every year, and we'll produce electricity. So imagine, once we get this complete, we'll be able to preserve, we think, a way forward for coal in America with a technology that should make it more environmentally friendly than natural gas. Further, there is tremendous international interest in this. I just returned from China. They have $15 per million BTU natural gas. Say, compare that to the United States,
right.
$4.50. Poland has tremendous interest in it, being at the end of Gazprom. They have a lot of low-rank coal. Look, I think this is important for Mississippi, for Southern Company, for America, but internationally, this is the kind of technology that people need to develop and employ.
Well, there is no doubt, Tom, that this is the new technology. It's what is being pioneered, as you say, by Southern Company, and others are you know, they're aware, as you are, of what's going on with the climate and limiting carbon emissions. But the fact is, with this plant, though, Tom, and you know, I hate to focus on it, but your investors are focused on it, is that, you know, it's now costing up to $4.5 billion to build this plant. How are you going to offset that higher bill? You can only pass on so much to consumers.
Oh, Betty, we struck, the original deal that we struck in Mississippi for this plant was struck around 2009. So good news, bad news. The good news is the Mississippi customers bear no increase in cost as a result of any overage associated with this plant. It has gone to the Southern Company account. Nobody's particularly happy with that, but we think that it's an important development. We think there are other markets where we may be able to gain some revenues. And in fact, there may be some other technology developments that will have promise down the road. We've got to continue to innovate as a country, and this is, you know, unfortunately in this case, you know, it's been painful.
Tom, on another front is the EPA and their limits on carbon emissions and the Supreme Court backing the EPA's tough rules. You've been opposed, as well as your fellow utility CEOs have been opposed to these new limits. How crushing are those regulations going to be for a company like yours?
Well, the most important regulation coming out of the Environmental Protection Agency recently was something called the HAPS-MACT rule. Now it's called MATS, but that has caused us to close down or convert 7,000 megawatts of our 20,000 megawatt coal fleet. That has been the biggest deal. I don't think going forward what EPA does in terms of carbon will have that much impact on our operations. Moreover, it makes something like the Kemper County plant that we just discussed more attractive, because that plant, once it is in service, we think will meet kind of all the new initiatives we see going forward. But Betty, let me offer this up, and it's something I talk about a lot. As CEO of the Southern Company, one of the most important companies in the United States energy space, I'm responsible for providing to my customers clean, safe, reliable, affordable energy. The only other entity in America that I think can make those kinds of policy judgments is Congress. And so I really look to Congress to set energy policy, not regulators.
So what are you trying to say? Are you happy with what Congress is doing, or do you think Congress needs to step up?
I would love to see Congress step up, and frankly, I say, you know, I co-chair at the Business Roundtable this idea of North American energy security. I frankly think that we can get bipartisan support to move energy policy forward for America. I think America could be energy secure by 2020. I think by 2025, we can add 2 to 4% to GDP, 3 million jobs, 1.6 trillion in new revenues to offset federal deficits. Look, I think we can create an unassailable advantage in manufacturing, create jobs, grow personal incomes, and make American lives better. Well, Southern Company is one of the companies in America that's providing not rhetoric, but solutions in this upfront.
Well, on energy, though, Tom, we're still waiting for the Keystone Pipeline decision. We've been waiting for quite some time already. All right.
Well, the pipe should be built.
Tom, thank you so much for joining me. Tom Fanning, the Southern Company Chairman and CEO. And coming up, the $300 million